All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, excited to be speaking with an individual who represents Munda Jiu-Jitsu, an experienced submission grappler. Right now has that pro MMA record of 4-1. Comes from that hotbed of London MMA, and got the development going on in Calgary early on. They're currently ranked in multiple weight classes. I'm talking a CLB, also known as Chris Lee Byrne. How's your day going so far there, Chris?
My day's going great, man. Just easing into camp and training, cleaning up the diet, trying to stay positive from COVID. That's about all.
Yeah, and I notice you have some rumblings of a fight coming up going on. Like, what details are you privy to with this? Is it still in certain negotiation stages, or what information do you have in regards to that right now?
Well, I've been trying to get a fight for the last few months. Since COVID hit, I had to kind of stop training quite a bit. My gym's closed off right now because of the lockdown, so I'm just going to do my own thing at home and stuff like that. But, so I was trying to contact BFL and Rise. Rise offered me a title fight at heavyweight, but I kind of want to stay out of that weight class. I'm super small there. But the new opportunity on the horizon is MFL in Cancun. They're normally an amateur promotion in Montreal, but they're doing a Fight Island type of thing in Cancun. And, so they're going to have some pro fights on it. It's looking like I'll probably be the main event. We're just hammering out the final details.
So nothing in regards to like an opponent or anything like that. Is there a specific weight class you're gearing towards? Because you were saying heavyweight isn't an option.
Yeah,
so
I'm going back to middleweight where I belong, where I'm strong, fast, and athletic, and not walking flat-footed, throwing haymakers, fighting bigger guys. So yeah, the opponent's a journeyman. I think his record's 8-10. The losses he has are to top-level guys, champions in Canada, UFC vets, stuff like that. But, got to take what I can get right now. Seems like a tough game opponent, so just going to prepare. And I'm not sure if I should announce his name yet. I might leave that to MFL to do. But, it looks like it's 99% confirmed across the board. MFL confirmed, I'm confirmed, he's confirmed. We're just waiting to announce it and hammer out the dynamics now.
Yeah, and I figured actually just kind of making an inference based on what events that I knew were coming up and stuff like that. So cool to see that you are in fact on that MFL card and in such a high level spot and everything like that. So you must be, thrilled about that, getting that opportunity to, fight a veteran opponent and just get back out there, and stave off the inactivity and be a bit more regular. MFL, like I said, normally an amateur promotion. I take a lot of the guys I coach there to fight whenever they do an event every 2 months or so. I have a great relationship with Maz. But, they're going to do adding a few pro fights to the card. I'm excited. The next fight I wanted a journeyman so I can kind of absorb that experience. And then, after this, I'm looking to really step up the level of competition. Just wait and see how this one goes first. Yeah, and earlier on you were saying you kind of had to like readjust certain things with the training methodology, and as far as like where your gym's at and certain things like that, just with the backdrop of the pandemic and all. Are you still working with a lot of the similar guys like Joel Paquette and Chris Clements, all those different guys like Nate Ledger and whatnot?
Yeah, my coaches, Stephen Molitor, everyone knows him. My Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, Josh Russell in Calgary. Chris Clements, my head cornerman and kickboxing MMA coach. I'm always trying to work with them. A lot less now since COVID and now this second lockdown. But, always working with my boys, Nate Ledger, Forrest Ayers, Seth Connor, Rafael Palameke. We're always getting in work right now. But, the second lockdown's messing it up, so I'm training with everyone a lot less. The only person I really see right now is Nate and Forrest. So Forrest is preparing also. He's going to be on the MFL card making his pro debut against the 3-0 opponent also. So at 145.
That's awesome. Good to see a couple lads on the card there. Like, what's the, travel dynamic and certain regulatory aspects of this one? Have you been made privy to that at this juncture, or not quite yet? Maybe when it gets closer to.
That's the dynamics we're working out right now too, right? There's
Sure.
He's working everything out with the commission right now, and he's working in Cancun, just working out our travel. Just working out all that stuff. Those are the dynamics. It's verbally agreed across the board. It looks like it's going to happen. It's 99% go. It's me. I'm going to fight the journeyman. We'll let MFL announce who. Forrest Ayers is fighting a 3-0 opponent for his debut. And my man Skyler, who's a heavyweight on my team, he's 1-1, and he's going to be fighting Jeff Fuchs. So Fuchs asked for him because his opponent flopped, and so he asked and he shall receive.
So what is the dynamic going to be with like cornermen and things of that nature? Like, is it going to be a dynamic of
like you'll corner somebody and then fight later on in the card or anything like that, or has it been divvied up in a particular way?
We're just gonna roll up and do a Wild Boys style, how Munda always does.
Oh yeah.
It's a small promotion, so we're not expecting a bunch of corners to be flown out or anything. We're just gonna go, me, Skylar, and Forrest. We're gonna roll up, we're gonna fight, and we're gonna fly home. We're gonna corner each other.
Yeah, that must be a cool dynamic too, because I was even thinking that when I was making the inference with the announcement, because I figured there would be a couple of your, Munda Jiu-Jitsu compatriots on the card, and it seems like a lot of the guys you've cornered there have a strong rapport with some of the MFL guys. So how cool is it to be, not only having an overseas fight, but also there's like a level of familiarity to it with the MFL connection. It seems like a confluence of the familiar, but also endeavoring to do something kind of newer.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, I have a good relationship with Maz. He's planning on setting up a ring right on the beach, from what I know.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting. It's going to be obviously all just rented and streamed online. I don't know how the restrictions with the crowd go there, but that's basically it for the most part. Yeah, I'm excited though, for sure.
Now, are you the kind of guy that like gets your opponent to, or gets your training partners rather do, similar stylistic tells to what your opponent is going to bring to the table? Like, do you, personalize the training camps to like that specific degree, or just getting in the typical work you'd be getting in with like Molitor and all those guys?
I just kind of keep working, man. I'm always training jiu-jitsu all the time, no matter what. I just try to stay flexible. When I'm in camp, I just clean up my diet, and I just try to get more mid-time with my striking coaches. That's really about it. I'm always just, rolling and sparring with my goons, though, for the most part. But, I'm just going to look forward to, I think it's February 27th in Cancun. I'm going to fight the next opponent. And if I put him away, I'm planning on calling out someone that most of us know here in Canada, too.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's kind of predicated on you getting a certain outcome before you mention it, but that's intriguing. That definitely piques my interest.
Actually, I'll tell you who it is. Fuck it. I'm going to call it Julian The Block. If I get this win, that's what I want next.
Just based on, like, general ranking they're at, is there any kind of reasoning why for that?
He's 5-1. This will put me 5-1. We're both middleweights, and he kind of implied before in the past that he wanted me, so like I said, you ask, you shall receive.
Well, that's a great fight. It seems like you got a couple, cool opportunities popping up there potentially. And yeah, just this is an interesting one just in as far as like you're competing sort of outside the Canadian bubble for the first time. Like, is that a thing that excites you to any degree, or just with all the, hurdles with COVID and everything like that? Maybe it doesn't feel like a traveling kind of thing per se. Like maybe it's more like a regimented deal.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the restrictions are going to go or how long I'll be able to stay, but I know I'm going to have to quarantine when I get back. I fought in the States. I fought all over Canada, but, and competed all over basically, but never outside of the States or Canada yet. So this is a nice step, into bigger horizons.
Absolutely, and you mentioned some of the work you've been able to get in over the years with Steve Molitor, and it seems like you've just got a wealth of experience with the submission grappling, but it seems like recently the strides have been coming in a big way with the hands. Is that something you've noticed yourself? Like, is that a fair characterization, and how much does that, bolster the confidence in your overall game? Because like I said, the jiu-jitsu always there in a huge way, but it seems like the striking has really leveled up noticeably.
Well, the striking's definitely leveled up with the help of Chris Clements and Stephen Molitor for sure over the last couple of years. And time I used to spend out adrenaline back before I opened my gym, that helps too. They're a huge team in town too. I actually started in boxing when I was like 15, 16 years old with Fitz Vanderpool. But I always trying to train just recreationally, more for fun, very laid back until I got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu around like 22. And then that's when I started kind of really training serious, like with goals in mind and competing. And then around 2012 is when I made my amateur MMA debut, and that's when I started training striking seriously. And, it's been from there. And then, the last couple of years, I think with the help of Clements and Molitor, it's definitely leveled up. I'm very confident on my feet now. Not as much as obviously on the ground. That's my bread and butter, but I'm not shy to strike anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it seemed like certain aspects of the initial part of the pandemic, like when the lockdown was a little heavier, like it seemed like towards the end of 2020, you were talking about how there was like some utility for that, and as far as, making goals, reflecting, things of that nature. Did this fight announcement come at the particular time, I guess, just, in lieu of what happened with the pandemic and just getting your focus allocated in a certain way? Like, did this kind of fight opportunity come at just the perfect time and everything?
Yeah, honestly, 2020 was probably the worst year of my life. I went through a lot of personal issues, a lot of family issues, a lot of relationship issues, business issues, health issues. Basically, couldn't have went worse for me. Some very public stuff, and then but as things progressed, everything worked out, and I'm doing better now, and seems that 2021's off to a great start. Been getting nothing but great news. MTK Global contacted me too. Ryzen, he's interested in managing me. Just wants me to string together a win or two, and he's telling me he's got some big opportunities for me that I think a lot of people are going to be surprised if I can string together 1 or 2 wins.
Well, it has to be a great announcement and something that really inspires you too, because I mean, guys like Jesse Arnett with MTK now and stuff like that, and just the level of profile they have in the boxing world. So that's a hugely encouraging thing. And it seems like they're connected with a lot of the different international promotions. So perhaps international travel going to be maybe a more regular thing down the line.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'd love to, I'd like to make it into I'm not getting younger. I'd like to kind of make a run in the next year or two and just see if I can make my way into any major organization, or at the very least, not have any regrets as I age and end up focusing on coaching in the later years.
Yeah, and to that point, like, how are you orienting your goals? Like, it seems like competing on an international promotion of a level of repute is, important to you, but do you have like a specific goals in as far as like a certain title you'd like to have or anything in that regard? Just general accomplishments for the next few years.
To be honest, nothing specific. I'd like when everything's going back to normal, maybe compete Masters Worlds, maybe hit Worlds for Jiu-Jitsu, maybe win a Canadian title, maybe who knows what can happen, right? But I don't aim too far ahead or too high. I just kind of truck along day by day, inch by inch. For now, I just want to be my healthiest, and I want to get active and just see what I'm made of.
That's funny you mentioned the Masters thing, 'cause I think a while ago you tweeted something out where you're saying you can't do Masters division until you've been through a divorce or have a kid you need to teach to ride a bike. Are you kind of at that point now?
No, I'm 34, so maybe competing, I don't know. I just... I've got a lot more responsibilities now, and, I do normal adult worlds and Masters worlds. It doesn't really matter. But my focus definitely right now is more on MMA and running my gym, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you'd mentioned also the focus you have with just, teaching people and things of that nature. How much does that bolster your own individual game as a competitor, though? Because obviously in my endeavors, they're a bit different, but I've taught people certain things, and in my experience, it's given me a more comprehensive sense of what I'm doing. In a way, have you noticed a similar thing with the coaching, competitive confluence there for you? Like, has it benefited you individually in that regard?
Yeah, I kind of develop more training partners. As they get better, they challenge me, and then it helps me too. And also just, regurgitating information over and over. It adds to that muscle memory. Sometimes you notice little details you didn't necessarily even notice that you were doing. When someone asks a question you didn't even think of, and then you answer, you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. This is why I do that, So, coaching, learning. Anytime you're spending on technical development, it's going to help you, period, So of course.
Yeah, for sure, man. And usually when I have fighters on, I tend to ask if there's like particular artists or genres musically they like to train to. Are you a guy that has certain go-tos in that regard, or is it kind of whoever has the aux cord just kind of put on whatever?
I'm like a hip hop R&B guy, but when it comes to music for training, I just like feel good music, man. Upbeat, feel good. I'm not the guy who wants to listen to hardcore rap or hardcore rock. When you do jiu-jitsu or when you strike, you want to be loose like a whip. You want to be relaxed. You don't want to be all stiff. You don't want to be all too fired up. So I just like to feel good. Just have something that feels good, put it on, get happy, and just go to work.
Yeah, I just had that loosey-goosey kind of fluidly undulate with what's going on kind of thing. Yeah, I guess if you're listening to real heavy stuff, you get all tensed up maybe and, more rigid.
Yes, sir. Exactly that.
No, that makes sense, and definitely understand the methodology there, but you've been really great with your time, man. I want to be mindful of, the rest of your schedule and stuff like that, though. So to that point, is there anything you'd like to kind of add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, man?
Maybe I'd like to thank a lot of my sponsors, Hempire London, Lost Soul Art Supply, Live Fit Foods, FlowX, King Faisal, Black Diamond Bar and Sports Grill, Ram Specialized Logistics, Top Crew Barbershop, The Solar Store, Culture Canna, Royal Canadian Garden Supply, of course my team Munda Jiu-Jitsu, and Eliza. I always promise I give her a shout out, so I'll give her one too.
Well, great shout outs there, man, and just, a lot of people on board, and it seems like a cool juncture in your career, a lot of interesting things on the horizon, and to that point, I appreciate you making some time for this interview. Thanks for all of the insights and everything. Best of luck with the remaining preparations leading into this late February fight here that you're mapping out and everything like that, and just have a good rest of your day too, Chris.
All right, thank you so much, man. Thank you for everything. Have a good day, Dylan.